Welcome everybody to the Final Score. I'm your host Nicholas Marcinov, and today we are going to be talking about the NFL Week 5 predictions. This is a show where I challenge all my buddies to try to have the best prediction record that they can get by the end of the Super Bowl. Whoever has the best record, I will buy them a jersey out of my pocket. Isn't that right, you guys? I'm all alone tonight. That's okay because, well, really, I'm in first place and they don't want to come and check me out. So, of course, right now I'm in first place with a record of 40-24, followed by my little brother Ben, who's 37-27, followed by Chris, who's 36-28, and then Tanner, who's 31-33, followed by DJ, who has a record of 24-40. A little bit rough for DJ, but that's okay. Week 5 could be his time. We are all looking for that perfect week. Will it come this time around? Well, if you go off of my picks, you're damn right it's coming. I just jinxed myself to have the worst record the entire weekend. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into it. Let's start with the Thursday night matchup, the one that's airing tonight, October 6th. It is the Indianapolis Colts taking on the Denver Broncos. And oh boy, I bet at the start of the season, the NFL were like, this is going to be a really great game. Not knowing that both these teams are actually bad. Jonathan Taylor is not going to be with the Colts, and the Denver Broncos, they might have a flashy quarterback in Russell Wilson, are still the same mediocre team that they've been for the last couple of years. However, I still think that mediocre team is going to be enough to beat the Indianapolis Colts, so give me the Denver Broncos. Okay, so that is the first game down. Let's go ahead and go across the pond. That's right, 2 weeks in a row, we're getting a London game first thing in the morning on Sunday. It is the New York Giants at the Green Bay Packers. And this game really just feels like a mismatch for me because Daniel Jones and the New York Giants are just a bad squad. They're not fully there yet. They're not fully ready to be taking that next step. They started the season off really well, 3-1. But I think that the Green Bay Packers, they just seem to find ways to win, despite having pretty much nobody. So give me the Green Bay Packers to get a win in London and just increase their record. Okay. Let's talk about the Detroit Lions at New England Patriots. This matchup I'm actually kind of excited for just because I've really been enjoying the Lions. And I said it in last week's show that if you're going to be bad, make it entertaining, and the Lions are making it damn entertaining. They have the highest, the most scored points out of any team in the NFL right now. However, they're only 1-3. It's like, you guys are so good. If you just had a little bit of a defense, you could be 4-0 right now. That's not the case, but it's just fun to speculate about. New England Patriots are dealing with the injury bug right now, so you gotta feel a little bit bad for them. Hopefully everybody is going to make it back okay. I'm going to go with a huge upset. I think that the Detroit Lions are actually going to win this game. I wouldn't be surprised if New England just comes out there, takes care of business, but it just seems fun to me to pick the Lions, so I'm gonna pick the Lions. I'm gonna have a little bit of fun with the pick right there. Let's move on to the LA Chargers at Cleveland Browns. So obviously I'm wearing a Browns jersey. I love the Browns, second favorite team. And I remember that I actually got to see the Browns at Chargers in, 2016? Whenever they were in 2017. 2017, December, during their 0-16 season. What a season that was. That was terrible. But I still remember that game. The LA Chargers beat up on the Cleveland Browns, And I think that we're probably going to see the same sort of thing. I think that Justin Herbert is going to start feeling a little bit better, and he's going to just be able to take care of business, especially if Cleveland, excuse me, if Cleveland doesn't clean up their act. Okay. Moving on to the Houston Texans at Jacksonville Jaguars. Houston Texans are playing their teams really close right now. Still haven't got an official win on the season. They do have that one tie from week 1, but they haven't won a game. And you're going up against the Jacksonville Jaguars, who had a pretty good couple of games there, and then they lost last week against the Philadelphia Eagles. But they still played really well, at least for the first quarter. And that's okay. I think that the Jaguars are going to pull it out. I think that the Houston Texans are just low enough below them that Jacksonville can pull it out, and they're at home. So that's my pick. Let's go ahead and move on to the Atlanta Falcons at Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Atlanta Falcons and Buccaneers are actually tied for first place in the division right now, if you can believe that. Don't get it messed up. Falcons are still bad. Buccaneers, gosh, man, they got throttled by Kansas City on Monday night. Still, I told my dad that he pissed off Tom Brady, and pissed off Tom Brady is just going to come back and play a phenomenal game against the Atlanta Falcons. So give me the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I know, surprise, surprise, you're going with Brady. Yep. Well, he's just going to keep on winning, and nothing's going to stop him. Let's move on to the Pittsburgh Steelers at Buffalo Bills. They finally made the switch. The Pittsburgh Steelers finally put in Kenny Pickett in for quarterback, and he threw an interception on his first play. Hopefully things go better for him this week. The Bills defense is not going to make it easy on him. Josh Allen is not going to make it easy on him. This is not a game that the Pittsburgh Steelers are expecting to win, and this is a game that the Buffalo Bills need to win. If they lose to a rookie quarterback, that's going to be bad. So going with the Bills in that one. Now we're moving on to Miami Dolphins at the New York Jets. Division matchup right now. Jets got a win last week, which was just shocking to me. They beat up on the Steelers. Okay, sure. Zach Wilson made his season debut. Congratulations. Miami Dolphins. Oh man, whatever happened to Tua? The NFL was wrong for it. They just totally mishandled that whole situation. And I don't like the fact that they said if he can play, he'll play. You gotta give the guy a little bit of rest. Even if the doctors are clearing him and everything, you need to give him a little bit of time off, because you don't want to keep re-injuring so close together. Something permanent can happen. But even if Teddy Bridgewater does have to come in at QB for the Dolphins, that should be good enough to take care of the New York Jets. So I'm going to go with my Finny friends, the Miami Dolphins. Okay, very good. I did not mean to exit out of that little secret from right here on the camera. Moving on to the next game, the Chicago Bears are taking on the Minnesota Vikings in a matchup where it almost feels like both these teams are on the same plane. The Minnesota Vikings look incredible week 1 whenever they handled the Packers, but since then, everything's just kind of been taking a step back. And then the Chicago Bears just can't seem to pull one out. I'm just going to have to go with the Minnesota Vikings on this, just because I don't trust the Chicago Bears until they can show me that they can do something. I'm going to go with Minnesota. They're coming off of that huge victory against my Saints in London. I think that they're just going to keep the good times rolling at home. Okay, moving on to the next matchup between the Tennessee Titans at the Washington Commanders. Oh, Ron Rivera is on the hot seat, isn't he? Oh geez, I feel so bad for him. He Ron Rivera deserves so much respect for coming into an organization right in the middle of, or just at the start of all the allegations of sexual abuse against the owner. They went through the name change of the team after the Black Lives Matter movement in 2020. He inherited so much, and right now the team's not winning. It's his third season as coach for the Washington football team, and they're just not doing it. This is a rough go-around for Ron Rivera, and going up against the Tennessee Titans, who honestly have not looked great. Derrick Henry does not seem to be the same Derrick Henry that he has been in years past. But you gotta feel bad for Ron Rivera. It just feels like the guys aren't playing for him, and I hate to accuse them of that because they're really passionate guys. But those guys need to go out there and really show that they like Ron Rivera. Or maybe they don't. Maybe they all have a problem with him. I'm going to have to go with Tennessee Titans. I know this was a longer explanation, but it's just me being vocal. I like Ron Rivera as a head coach, and I just feel terrible that he got dealt a really bad hand in Washington. Okay. Seattle Seahawks at New Orleans Saints. Oh, geez. The Seahawks, man. They're such a hard team for me to pick. They're just... Gosh. They're a weird team. Because on paper, they should be losing like every single game, and yet they're not. They're winning these games, surprisingly. And the Saints are 1-3 right now, and honestly, we should be 0-4. We should not have won week 1 against the Falcons. Whatever that was that inspired everybody to come back, it's gone since then. Buccaneers, Panthers, Vikings, 3 straight losses. I'm skeptical, and I feel like this is just me being a little bit biased, but I think the Saints can pull out a win against the Seahawks as long as Andy Dalton, because Jameis Winston did not practice, as long as Andy Dalton looks like how he did during the third and fourth quarter of that London game, should be okay. But I would not be surprised if the Seattle Seahawks just demolish us for some reason. Okay. San Francisco 49ers at Carolina Panthers. 8. San Francisco's defense is looking good. Baker Mayfield and the Panthers are not. It's going to be that game. Who can do more, the defense or the offense, against both sides of the ball? I'm just going to have to go with the San Francisco 49ers because right now, Baker Mayfield and the Panthers just don't look great. Whereas the San Francisco 49ers, they got Jimmy G back. And that could be the deciding factor in all of this is Jimmy G as well as the defense that's he leads. So give me the San Francisco 49ers. Okay, moving on to Philadelphia Eagles at Arizona Cardinals. Arizona is also a really weird one because they were off and on. Last season, they were really good at the first half of the season, and then they fell off. Looks like they're still trying to recover from that. Philadelphia Eagles are just looking like a really well-built team, as expected from every offseason move that they did. They really stacked the cards in their favor, and I think that they're just going to continue doing that this weekend. I think that the Philadelphia Eagles are going to be able to beat the Arizona Cardinals. Okay, going to move on to the Dallas Cowboys at LA Rams game. This game, Cooper Rush is 4-0 as a starter, and the NFL at QB. Rams suffered a devastating loss against the San Francisco 49ers, but honestly, if you ask me, that was a little expected. The 49ers always seem to play the LA Rams the best. They are like their kryptonite. The Rams are going to struggle against the 49ers. Whereas the Dallas Cowboys, they've just been facing a lot of weak opponents as of late. And so Cooper Rush has been looking better than he might be. This is going to be the real test for Cooper Rush. I know Dak Prescott may come back, but I think you should probably ride with Cooper Rush to see what you have. If you lose to the LA Rams, it's not terrible, but at least you can say, okay, he's not ready to go up against a really good team at the moment. Then you could put in Dak for the next week. But in mine, I'm going with the LA Rams. I think that they're going to handle business. They're going to bounce back. They're at home. Whose house? Rams' house. Okay, moving on to the next game, which is the Sunday night matchup of Cincinnati Bengals at the Baltimore Ravens. Joe Burrow is starting to find his groove a little bit, and the Baltimore Ravens are, wow, they're really impressive, and then they're really terrible. They can't seem to hold on to a 17-point lead, which is really weird. These two teams are tied for division lead of the AFC North. It's going to be really interesting of who can do more. I think that if the Baltimore Ravens just don't get up by 17 points, they should be able to win this game. So give me the Baltimore Ravens to win it. Okay, moving on to the last matchup, the Monday night game. It is the Las Vegas Raiders at Kansas City Chiefs. Whew. And in this matchup, the Raiders are just not looking good. Kansas City is coming off of that phenomenal game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, probably their best played game all season. And they don't look like they're going to stop. The Las Vegas Raiders, I'm sorry, DJ, I love you, bro. They're not good. And adding Davante Adams looked like a really great signing in the offseason, but it doesn't feel like Vegas is really utilizing him to his full potential. What happened to the, Carr and Adams connection, the one that was hyped up all season? They were showing the college stats of these two, and yet on the field right now, we aren't seeing it. It's a completely different game. They're double covering Davante Adams because of course they are. But still, whenever he was in Green Bay, doesn't matter how many people were on him, he would be able to get open. I have to go with the Kansas City Chiefs just because they are playing lights out football right now, and the Las Vegas Raiders are still trying to solidify their spot in the NFL. But that's going to do it for me this week, everybody. I want to say thank you so much for tuning in. If you watched this long, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I love doing these videos every week. I know I'm a little bit tired. I got a lot of stuff to do. And I hope that you guys have a wonderful week. We'll catch you next time on the final score, and we'll talk about NFL Week 6 next Thursday. And that's the final score. Thank you, and good night.